The town of Maple Hollow rested quietly in a bend of the prairie, a place where wind carried the voices of wheat fields and where every sunrise painted the sky with colors soft enough to hold a child's dreams. It was a small town tucked between rolling meadows and the slow amber colored river that drifted lazily through the valley. Life here moved with a rhythm older than the people who lived in it, steady, simple, and stitched together by shared moments and hardworking hands. Among the families scattered across Maple Hollow lived 12-year-old Lydia Bell, a girl with a quiet spirit and a heart that held more courage than she yet understood. She lived with her mother and father in a modest farmhouse on the hill, surrounded by cornfields that rustled like whispered stories each time the wind brushed through them. Lydia's days were filled with chores, schoolwork, and long walks across the meadows where she collected stray feathers, unusual stones, and dreams that felt too big for a small town. The schoolhouse of Maple Hollow stood at the center of town, a weathered wooden building with soft creaking floors and windows that rattled in the winter wind. For generations, it had been more than just a place of lessons. It was where families met, where stories were told, where winter concerts warmed cold nights, and where the hopes of the town's children were shaped into futures. Lydia loved the schoolhouse the way some children loved hidden treasures. She loved its smell of old books, the sound of chalk tapping at the board, and the sense of belonging that wrapped itself around anyone who walked inside. But one autumn morning, as clouds hung low and heavy over Maple Hollow, news spread like a crack through glass. The school might close. Funding had grown scarce, enrollment had shrunk. The county board was proposing that students be bused to a school 20 miles away. For adults, it was a problem carved in numbers and budgets. For the children, it felt like losing a piece of their home. The news rolled through town with a slow, aching weight. Parents whispered in stores. Farmers spoke in low voices across fence lines. The school bell still rang each morning, but it sounded lonelier than before. Lydia felt that loneliness settle into her chest each time she stepped through the school door. She couldn't imagine Maple Hollow without this place. She couldn't imagine herself without it. That evening, as she sat at her small wooden desk beneath the lamplight, Lydia felt a stirring she couldn't ignore, an idea beginning to bloom, small but stubborn. She believed that if enough people understood how much the school meant, something could change. She felt certain that a town could fight for the heart of its children, and if no one else knew where to begin, she would. The next morning, Lydia woke early. Frost coated the edges of the window pane, and the sky was still grey with dawn. She gathered her notebooks, pencils, and a stack of clean paper. Something inside her had settled into determination. She walked to school with a sense of purpose she had never felt before, her boots crunching across the thin crust of frost on the ground. At recess, while others played or huddled together to talk, Lydia sat on the step of the schoolhouse and began to write. Her hand moved slowly at first, then faster as her thoughts found shape. She wrote about the history of the school, the families who had passed through it, and the memories carved into its walls. She wrote about the importance of a town having a place where its children learned not just arithmetic and reading, but compassion, community, and hope. She wrote about what the school meant to her. Over the next week, Lydia shared her idea with classmates. Many were unsure at first. They were children after all, what power did they have? But Lydia's quiet certainty was contagious. She encouraged them to write their own stories, memories of the school, drawings of their favorite classroom moments, hopes for the future they wanted to build with the foundation given to them here. Soon the small stack of papers she carried in her satchel grew into a thick bundle. Lydia didn't stop there. After school, she walked from house to house, visiting neighbors who had lived in Maple Hollow all their lives. She listened to their stories and collected their memories, gathering notes in her notebook until its pages swelled. Some spoke of old reunions held in the schoolyard. Others recalled dances in the gym, Christmas pageants where shy children blossomed under soft stage lights, and teachers whose lessons had shaped generations. Many hadn't thought of these memories in years, and revisiting them stirred something tender inside them. As Lydia walked through town day after day, people began to notice the determination in her eyes. They began to talk, not about losing their school, but about fighting for it. The spark she carried ignited the embers within others. Winter crept toward Maple Hollow, and with it came the date of the county board meeting, a meeting that would determine the fate of the school. Snow fell steadily that evening, drifting across rooftops and softening the edges of the world. Lydia stood outside the town hall with her thick bundle of papers pressed to her chest, her breath rising in small white clouds. People gathered around her, classmates, parents, farmers, shopkeepers, grandparents, faces warmed by lamplight and hope. Inside, the meeting began. The board spoke of numbers, costs, and practicality. They were words that felt cold, like the wind rattling the windows. Then Lydia stepped forward. She placed her bundle of papers, stories, drawings, memories, on the table before the board. Her voice trembled at first, but steadied as she spoke. She didn't argue with numbers. She didn't speak of budgets. She spoke of the soul of the town. She spoke of belonging, history, and the promise that every child deserved a place to grow rooted in community. As she finished, the room had grown quiet, not the kind of silence filled with doubt, but a silence that held something bright and rising. One by one, families stepped forward to add their voices. They offered ideas, solutions, funds, volunteer hours. They spoke with a unity the board had not expected. When the vote finally came, the decision was made. Maple Hollow School would remain open. The town would work together to support it. The board, moved by the depth of the community's commitment, agreed to help find a sustainable solution. Outside, the snow had stopped and the sky was washed in moonlight. Lydia stepped out of the building with her parents beside her. The whole town seemed to glow. People hugged, laughed, wiped tears from their faces. The schoolhouse would stay. The heart of Maple Hollow would keep beating. That night, as Lydia walked home, she felt the world around her expand in a new way. She had discovered something powerful and lasting, the knowledge that courage could come in small, steady steps, that even a quiet-hearted girl could change the course of a town, and that sometimes saving something beloved didn't require grand gestures, only the willingness to begin. In the days that followed, the town breathed easier. The school bell rang with renewed warmth, the classrooms filled with energy, as if the walls themselves understood the victory that had been won. Lydia returned to her seat by the window, the winter sun spilling across her desk, feeling a sense of belonging deeper than ever before. She knew Maple Hollow had been saved by more than words or votes. It had been saved by the shared belief that a community was strongest when its children were given a place to dream. And Lydia carried that truth with her, not as a moment to remember, but as a lesson to live by.